What's going on, YouTube? My name is Anthony Russo, and rather than giving you a longer video recapping the two games that are today, I'm going to cut them up. So I'm going to do a quick reaction to the Seahawks-Falcons game, and then I'll do one for the Patriots-Texans later. It's currently, what time does that say? 9:40. It's halftime right now for the Patriots-Texans game. Um, so I'm going to do that now, and then I'll watch the rest of the Patriots-Texans game and give you guys a recap on that. So Seahawks-Falcons, tale of two offenses is how I look at it. The Falcons offense was just lighting up the Seahawks. Matt Ryan did an unbelievable job of spreading the ball around. 8 receivers or running backs wound up with double-digit receiving yards. An unbelievable night for the Falcons offense against a good but injured Seahawks defense, and I think that played a big role too. We saw Deshaun Shed early in the second half leave with an injury. It looks like he has a possible torn ACL, is what reports are saying. Michael Bennett had to leave with an injury during the second half as well. Jeremy Lane was hurt. A lot of injuries, especially in the secondary, and you already had the loss of Earl Thomas that they had to compensate for. And they didn't. The Seahawks did not do a good job of compensating for Earl Thomas. A lot of big plays. Taylor Gabriel had a big play at one point, a 37-yard catch. Uh, we saw Julio Jones had a great game. He was beating Richard Sherman effectively all night long. Um, Devontae Freeman had a good game. Tevin Coleman had a good game. They combined for about 200 yards, I think. I think it said. Matt Ryan looked like the NFL MVP. I think this game really solidified that argument. Now, we still have a whole half of Patriot football for Tom Brady to make his claim, and I don't doubt that he will. But right now, to me, Matt Ryan is the MVP. Although I still have a special spot in my heart for Derek Carr, I still think he should get a lot of consideration. Um, but I think after tonight, I think Matt Ryan has effectively made the case he's the MVP of the NFL. Um, and so the Seahawks offense did not play obviously as well as the Falcons offense. A lot of mistakes, penalties, just a bad night for the Seahawks. Credit to Russell Wilson, he did what he could. He played well, not great, but he played well considering the circumstances. 19 quarterback hurries uh, for the Falcons defense tonight, and a lot of that I credit to just the terrible offensive line, which I touched on in my preview video. Uh, just a terrible offensive line, and it really showed tonight. Um, just a bad unit. They need help all over that offensive line. I said it in my preview video. If their first two draft picks are offensive linemen, as a Seahawks fan, I would have no problem with that. Because that offensive line is the reason, not the reason, but the probably the biggest reason that they lost tonight. That and the Earl Thomas injury, I think, are the two big reasons why they lost tonight's game. Um, I also want to credit Kyle Shanahan. Unbelievable job as offensive coordinator for the Falcons. Um, if the 49ers don't hire him as their head coach, or at least give him, the strongest look possible, and then, if he doesn't want the job, then fine. But if the 49ers don't make him their guy to get right now, I don't know what Jed York is thinking if he doesn't try to get Shanahan as his coach. I think Kyle Shanahan's more than earned it, especially after this season and after this performance against their rival, against the team that they lost to twice this season, against the team that's probably their biggest rival too. Especially, I mean, we remember the Harbaugh Carroll years, when they were going back and forth, and the NFC Championship game they had a few years ago. That was one of the classics, I would say, of this decade. The infamous Richard Sherman and the Richard Sherman press conference. Um, but nevertheless, Shanahan just diced him up tonight. Just made him look like the Cleveland Browns. And again, I don't see how you don't make Shanahan your top target for that job. Now, speaking of coaches too, Darrell Bevell, offensive coordinator for the Seahawks. While I certainly don't think it's all his fault, that the Seahawks lost and didn't have the season they were looking for, he is certainly to blame. Um, Again, this offense has not performed to the level that it was attempting to this season. Now, again, there were injuries on the offensive side of the ball and a terrible offensive line, but Darrell Bevell, not just this season, but for a few seasons now, has made poor decisions and hasn't gotten that offense to the level that it was back when it won the Super Bowl a few years ago. Since that Super Bowl run, that offense has taken a step back, and I think they would be wise to get rid of Bevel and try to get that offense going in a different direction. I know Seahawks fans would love to see him go too. I don't, not all of them, but I think there is a large portion of Seahawks fans that are sick of Darrell Bevell. Um, so if I'm the general manager whose name is slipping from me at the moment, I fired Darrell Bevell. I think he should be fired, and I don't wish that upon anybody. But strictly from a personnel business standpoint, Darrell Bevell ought to be fired, I think. All right, that's gonna wrap this up. Yeah, like I said, I wanted to make this quick, and I'll give another reaction to the Texans Patriots game so far. I will say though, in the first half, the Texans have definitely, I think, overperformed what a lot of us thought was going to happen. They are fighting, and I commend them, and I commend Bill O'Brien and his team for that. That said, I'm still picking the Patriots, and I think it's still going to be a blowout. Honestly, I think Brady's going to come out swinging in the second half, and the Texans aren't going to have enough to stop him. Okay, so that's going to wrap this up. I'm going to go and upload this, and let me know what you guys think. Would you fire about Darrell Bevell? Is he to blame for the Seahawks' problems? Is it are there other guys that should be fired? What's Pete Carroll standing at this point? What do you guys think? And Kyle Shanahan, should he be a head coach of the Niners? Who should be the head coach of the Niners if not him? Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys later.